Welcome to the program Psychological Studies. Today, the fourth module, Moments of Health and Consciousness. Let's study together as learners of ourselves as we all are and learn a bit more about integral health. Integral health is the aim human beings long for, to reach the harmony between biological, emotional, and psychological equilibrium is an experience of general well-being, constitutes a huge challenge for the human intelligence. The precision of the diagnosis and the use of sophisticated machinery is helping to detect serious illnesses before their manifestations or at the beginning, alongside with advanced therapies which prolong the physical existence, diminishing sufferings and preserve the organs even when affected. By instance, we avoid suffering or free ourselves from using all the resources available, isn't it? As soon as we discover ourselves in search within, with the tools of love, we find out that health is an interior achievement which reflects on the body as a result from the inner harmony. If the energetic equilibrium is disturbed, it cannot sustain the cells, the immune system. Under destructive mental discharges, it alters, favoring the installation and development of diseases. In that way, it is vital to establish a new era of awareness, of responsibility, in order to, lucid and balanced, redefine the paradigms of an harmonic moral and mental conduct which promotes health. That is the basis to build, to conquer integral health. It is important that in everything we do, we present a positive meaning, motivator for new stimulus to carry on our experiences in our existences, which should be characterized by enriched experience. If people around us do not agree with our option to be happy, with aggressions, we should carry on, favoring well-being. We all carry the free will within, awaiting to be stimulated for us to free us from ourselves and from external agents which may disturb our movements of conquering integral health. Cultivate sympathy, producing optimistic stimulus for ourselves, represents a significant emotional growth, the psychological maturity in full strength. Let's reflect together with the benefactor Joanna de Ângelis. The divine psyche flows through us. God sustains us and leads us in our daily life. There is a flux and reflux of forces that goes through ourselves and drives us to carry on. It depends on us to coordinate the movements, select the goal, and advance. Submitting ourselves to this vital force, everything is accessible and we can achieve our inner aspirations in peace. If we only see suffering in our challenges, we have a pathological behavior which needs adequate therapy. Life is a blessing and needs to be led in a healthy, happy manner, even when facing trials and expiations, which are experiences favoring evolution. The divine thought gives us inner power to do all the good which we choose to, which we wish to. Be happy or unhappy is our voluntary option. We are slaves of the law, God's laws, which allows us to progress without interruption of time. Who we are and what we will be depends on us. The superior inspiration is never lacking. However, tuning into it is a personal inspiration. Build the existential structures in the mind, we will carry them out through our physical journey. Everything starts in the way that we think and will reflect through our actions. The Divine Presence supports us in our growing and renovation process. Each moment is a new opportunity to advance or correct mistakes. The transformations that life presents are phases of development. The broom renovates, pain awakes, privation educates, changing behavior proposes effort. We are bound to happiness, which we will achieve through inner renovation and constant efforts to improve ourselves because we are children of God. The divine force flows through our mind and body. We were born in a difficult situation in order to train evolution. People are as they wish to, but we are in search for incessant harmony. And continue to reflect with the benefactor Joanna de Ângelis. The evil that others direct to us, we will turn into goodness for ourselves. It is a choice, remember. They did not know how to do better. In that way, we love them and will be free to conquer the ghost door's self-enlightenment. The divine help awaits us during the days of our lives and encourages us. We make efforts to abandon laziness and disencouragement, fortifying ourselves and working towards conquering the superior resources, the superior faculties. The shadows that involve us stay because we sustain them through our thoughts and feelings, which are negative, and we can choose to change as we get more and more in contact with the natural laws of life. The divine love fills us with peace. What does that mean to us? His presence leads us towards others, which we choose to respect and love. That is a wise decision. The divine power enriches us to the necessary for a fulfilled existence. That what is missing surely is not important to us. Real possessions will never be taken from us. Real possessions are the virtues, are the superior values, are the characters of a good person. Real values has nothing to do with belongings. It has to do with our unique way of being, as being of goodness as we all are in essence. The divine stimuli emulates us to advance. The laws of incessant changes work everywhere, teaching us renovation and progress. Do we feel that we are renovating? Do we feel that we are progressing? Do we feel that we are evolving in our unique ways of being in relation to us and in relation to others? Do we feel feel that we are working towards conquering integral health, the divine conscience irrigates us with peace. In front of us, the present, elaborating the future. The past are the lessons learned, serving us as support for our internal transformations in the present. Bear in mind that evolution happens in the present for all of us. We trust and renew ourselves, tranquilizing us in goodness. The divine truth passes through us and transforms us. Are we open to it? The divine truth overflows us. We think and act with correctness. Let's try it. The divine forgiveness softens us, calms us, gives us dimension of the therapeutic power of love. We see the world, people, in a different way, in a correct, positive way. We overcome resentments which torments us. We recover joy in living and being natural, loving all with tenderness, even those who do not correspond to our sentiments of affections. In order to learn to love, it is vital for us to learn to respect ourselves and respect others. Love can be learned. Everything is well with us now because we are pleased with life itself. We are grateful to be alive. We are grateful for life itself. The divine psyche opens our psyche and reflects brilliantly. We free us from our limitations in which we suffocate ourselves towards the grandeur of life in which we expose ourselves. We are beings of light, beings of goodness, beings of love. We dive into our inner world and see, hear, perceive the reality without boundaries, from which we are coming from and go back to. We identify ourselves with our Father, freeing us. Our Father is the loving, merciful God, the supreme intelligence in the universe, who created us and everything, and is sustaining and supporting us through His sublime love. The divine fountain of energy is attained through our hearts. Let's open our emotional dimension in training on daily basis in goodness. We pray and elevate ourselves to God in a way that we float above the human miseries, even if it is for moments. We can all do that. Move beyond the human miseries through our open hearts, through our open minds, through prayer, through inner reflections, which helps us to elevate us from beyond the materialistic viewpoint of life. The divine light involves us and breaks the external shadows which insist to put us down. The pessimism disappears and the irritation stops. We are destined to success, which we will look for with a mind enriched with enthusiasm. We choose the option of joy. We will not give in to slime the disturbances that we got used to. We are life, which is unfolding. all of us. We are unfolding in our evolution process. We are growing psychologically and emotionally, and therefore working gradually towards conquering integral health. As more conscious we become, and as more consciously we live our lives, we naturally will be developing more and more health from within, which expresses through our physicality. We stand up and develop new belief systems and actions which represent wholeness. Belief systems and actions which are good for us today, which are good for us tomorrow. That is, in the future, as immortal beings as we all are. The divine serenity awaits us after we carry out our duties. We comprehend our responsibilities within the setting of life which we are in, transcending conflicts. When we learn to develop the virtuous responsibility, which is internal autonomy in choosing to overcome our own limitations, our own shadows, we are transcending the conflicts, the illnesses, the disturbances. Serene and confident, no evil affects us. The divine reality awakes us, helping to discover ourselves. Our search is no longer covered by illusions, but with the certainty of the next encounter with reality. Search within. As more sincere and honest we are, because we are participating consciously towards conquering integral health, we are willing to be sincere and honest in order to understand the causes of our conflicts. When we choose with that openness the journey within, we will free us from our own illusions, because we will choose to cultivate the reality which is the goodness that we bring within, the reality of understanding the law of cause and effect. Every cause in goodness will bring effects in goodness. Every cause coming from evil aspects or shadows or limitations will bring consequences, effects which are negative as learning processes for us. But we can always choose in the present to follow the pathway of learning through love. Let's engage with that proposal. We improve ourselves, nothing demanding from others, loving all, allowing us to be dominated by reality. By reality is not the reality from the ego state of mind, but the reality from the self state of mind, which is to say the divine within us, the sacred. We free ourselves from the toxins, from the psychological limitations such as sorrows, hate, lamentations, jealousy, vengeance, greed, and so on and so forth. We perceive the world and people in a positive and fraternal way, understanding gradually that we are all brothers and sisters in humanity, learning about our essence, goodness, love, peace, light. In our vulnerable human condition, the honest relation with others will contribute towards our inner balance. There will not be inner balance. It is not possible unless we learn to be honest, sincere, transparent with us and others. That means purifying our heart, developing good sentiments, Good sentiments which are good today, which are good for us, which are good for others, which are good in the future. People who are fulfilled, healthy, their behavior remains without surprises, because there is an interaction between their internal and external behavior, which represents psychological emotion. Are we already in this state of mind? That our internal and external behaviors are harmonized? Or perhaps maybe notice that internally we have one reference and external we may have another, and if so, what can we do to learn to balance ourselves? The line of equilibrium demonstrates the personality without eccentricities, neither sudden changes, as happens between exaltation and depression. The one who acts in this way as a human being irradiates this state of achievement in a natural way. In the altered behavior, in which joy and sadness, confidence and suspicion, love and animosity confuse themselves, the lack of self-awareness, the immaturity, program states of instability, rebelliousness, conducting to emotional infirmities which are somatized, appearing through the physical body. The mind can be trained in exercising the ethical moral values that aim the goodness towards all, as a consequence, the own goodness. The effort to acquire healthy habits leads to the conscientiousness of duty and responsibilities relevant to life. We could ask ourselves, where are we in our journey of integral health, which is conquered through self-awareness, learning to take responsibilities for ourselves, to develop our duties. Our duties are to develop aspects that favor a fraternal living, a solidarious way of engaging with each other towards the goodness for all, developing a pure heart. While love doesn't feel pleasure in donating, experience the infantile period characterized by jealousy, insecurity, unreasonable demands, therefore egocentric, improper. The understanding of the transient of the psychic body expresses a superior level of awareness. This lucid discernment in respect to the fragility of the body is of high significance in the process of evolution. We are immortal beings, spirits essentially, and express ourselves through the physical body in a temporary way. The conscience opens the channels of intelligence and sentiment for a natural acceptance of the successive and inevitable experiences which promotes the individual. Reincarnation is an instrument of progress for the spiritual being, for all of us. Through reincarnation, we evolve because we are constantly learning, constantly actualizing ourselves. Never postpone our duties on the pretext that we will have future opportunities. It's true, we will have infinite opportunities for us to evolve, but we will never have the same as we are having today. And if we use it wisely today, we won't need the same opportunities tomorrow as we already are choosing to promote ourselves. The theory of reincarnation boosts us towards progress through love and goodness. The laziness to think is the responsible for the limitation to discern, to reason. Let's free ourselves from psychological and emotional laziness. Let's learn to discern what is good and not for us and for others. Expand our consciousness and to improve our psychological, emotional, and also biological health in every moment of our existences. The development of the intelligence and sentiment gives origin to the conscience, to the discernment. Self-awareness of what we think, of what we feel, is fundamental for us to conquer integral health. The decision and efforts applied to achieve new evolutionary goals develops the moral character. Moral characters means emotional intelligence. Once we develop gradually our emotional intelligence, we are conquering more moral ethical values, as a consequence, more integral health. Healthy character, disciplined and responsible, defines the good person who doesn't give up when facing obstacles, always learning from them. Remember how we started our reflections today? Learners of ourselves. We will never give up of learning, even when we are facing obstacles. Obstacles are means of improving ourselves. They are just helping us to go beyond the limits that we went so far. And we all can do that. It's just a question of training us. In that way, educating mediumship, which presents itself as a specific finality, which is to invite the individual to their moral readjustments towards the divine code, natural laws. When we talk or reflect about integral health or health and consciousness, studying about mediumship is fundamental because we are all mediums. Why? Because we all think and feel, and in that way communicate in the universe. And this communication ends up being energetic means of communication. Through mediumship, move liberating energies of knowledge, of love and reason, when we choose to educate ourselves on the mental, on the emotional level, to balance ourselves more and more. Therefore, we become as mediums, as intermediates within different minds which are filtering loving, good, superior energies, therefore healing us. When, however, ungoverned allows the passage of rancorous energies, aggressions, afflictions, and that also can impact our health in a negative way. Mediumship, in order to be dignified, needs the lights of a noble conscience. Noble conscience means the capacity, the ability, the willingness to develop goodness from within, to be tolerant, to be fraternal, forgiving, to be always in a cooperative move towards goodness for all. In that way, we are dignifying ourselves psychologically, emotionally, and also dignifying our mediumship, as mediums as we all are. As greater the discernment of the mind, greater will be the possibilities to the mediumship exchange. Greater, higher. As more as we elevate ourselves, as more as we elevate our energetic field through the way that we elevate our thoughts, our feelings, our actions in goodness, we are really discerning more, and the possibilities of exchanging minds in goodness will increase. Do not fear death, neither fear life. Let's live in such a way when facing this incarnation, we feel in peace. We live forever. We are immortal beings. We are divine beings in evolution. We don't need to fear death, because death does not exist. Death, from a spiritist perspective, is life and life in abundance, as the enlightened spirits are teaching us. May we all, from these reflections, feed us within, with love, with harmony, with peace, and invest in conquering integral health, developing goodness for us and for others, today and always. Much peace to all. See you soon.